Aquarius, stop. Don't scroll, don't blink, don't ignore this. This is not motivation. This is not positive thinking. This is not astrology the way you've been taught. This is a warning, and it's late on purpose. 99% of people will never hear what I'm about to say. Not because they aren't smart, not because they aren't spiritual, but because this message is filtered. If this reached you on January 12th, listen carefully. It's already too late to go back to who you were. Something about your life never made sense, right? You tried harder than others, got less. You saw through people early, paid the price. You felt different, but couldn't explain why. That wasn't insecurity. That wasn't bad luck. That was suppression. Something was hidden from you, on purpose. Not by chance, not by accident, by design. You weren't meant to hear this until now, because if you heard it earlier, you would have questioned too much. You would have walked away sooner. You would have broken patterns that weren't ready to collapse yet. And here's the part that should make your stomach drop. January 12th is not just a date, it's a switch. A moment when Aquarius energy stops absorbing and starts returning everything back. That's why people started acting strange around you. That's why silence feels louder than words. That's why you're less emotional, but more aware. This phase doesn't announce itself. It isolates you first. You might feel disconnected, uninterested, detached from things that once mattered. That's not depression. That's upgrading. Stay with me, because in the next few moments, I'm going to explain why your life felt delayed, why certain doors refused to open, and why January 12th changes everything permanently. But listen carefully. This message isn't safe for everyone. Some people should click off right now, because once you hear this, you can't unknow it. You can't go back to playing small. You can't pretend you didn't feel it. Aquarius energy was never meant to be controlled, only delayed, and that delay just expired. You've been watched more than you realize, tested more than you know, protected in ways that didn't feel like protection at the time. Every rejection, redirection, every delay, preparation, every loss, a filter removing what couldn't survive where you're going. And here's the shocking truth nobody talks about. The moment you stop chasing, things start moving. The moment you stop explaining, people start listening. The moment you pull your energy back, the world leans in. January 12th activates that shift. Not loudly, not dramatically, but inevitably. You don't need to fight. You don't need to prove. You don't need to convince anyone anymore. Your presence is about to do the work. And if you're feeling pressure in your chest, or a strange calm mixed with tension, or like something is about to happen, but you can't name it, that's because this message didn't find you randomly. You didn't choose this video. This video found you. Comment, "I'm ready" right now if you can feel something shifting. Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it. Just comment. Because what you do next, how you move, what you ignore, what you walk away from, will decide whether January 12th becomes just another date or the moment everything finally turns in your favor. Aquarius, listen carefully, because this is the part nobody ever says out loud. You were never meant to fit in, not in your family, not in relationships, not in workplaces, not in society as it's currently built. And no, that wasn't bad luck. That wasn't you being too much or too different. That was design. From the moment you were born, your energy moved differently. You questioned things people blindly accepted. You noticed patterns others ignored. You felt things before they happened. That alone made people uncomfortable. Your silence? It scared them. Because silence from an Aquarius isn't empty. It's observing. Your mind? It threatens systems that rely on obedience, not awareness. You weren't here to blend in. You were here to interrupt cycles, And when the world recognizes someone like that, it doesn't celebrate them. It tries to delay them. So what did they do? They delayed you with confusion. They distracted you with responsibilities that drained you. They surrounded you with people who misunderstood you. They made you question your own instincts. Not because you were wrong, but because you were early. Every time you tried to step forward, something blocked you. Every time you trusted your intuition, someone doubted you. Every time you spoke your truth, you paid a price. That wasn't coincidence. That was containment. Aquarius energy isn't meant to be controlled, so the only option was to slow it down. But here's where January 12th changes everything. This date activates something ancient in Aquarius energy, something most people don't even know exists. It's the moment when suppression expires, meaning what was holding you back no longer has permission. What confused you loses power. What delayed you collapses quietly. You may not see fireworks, you may not hear announcements, but you will feel it. People who once ignored you will suddenly feel nervous around you. They won't know why. They'll just sense that you're no longer accessible in the same way. Opportunities will appear from nowhere. But here's the key part. They come with tests attached. Tests of patience. Tests of self-respect. Tests of whether you'll shrink to be accepted again. Because the universe needs to know one thing. Are you still trying to fit in? Or are you finally ready to stand alone? This is why some Aquarius people feel restless right now. Others feel detached. Some feel unusually calm, like they've already made a decision internally. That's not mood swings. That's alignment beginning. Your energy is no longer available for misuse. Your time is no longer cheap. Your presence is no longer free. And that's where things get uncomfortable. Not for you, but for others. Because the moment you stop seeking approval, the power dynamic flips. People who benefited from you doubting yourself, they'll feel it first. People who kept you around but never supported your growth, they'll sense the distance. People who underestimated you, they'll feel exposed without you saying a word. And here's something most Aquarius people don't realize until later. You weren't rejected because you lacked value. You were rejected because your value couldn't be exploited long term. January 12th activates that realization. You no longer argue. You no longer chase clarity. You no longer beg to be understood. You observe. You choose. You withdraw when necessary. Comment, I always felt different, if this feels like someone finally put words to what you've known your whole life. But now, listen very closely. But here's the twist. This activation doesn't help everyone. Some people will fight it. Some will cling to old versions of themselves. Some will try to go back to comfort instead of stepping into power. And those people will feel more lost than ever. Because Aquarius energy, once awakened, cannot be put back to sleep. From this point forward, you either rise into your true role, or you feel the discomfort of resisting who you've always been. And in the next part, I'm going to tell you exactly what happens next. The danger, the separation, and why not everyone is meant to go with you. Stay with me. Listen very carefully, Aquarius. This is where things get serious. January 12th doesn't just bring blessings. It doesn't just open doors. It doesn't just upgrade your mindset. It brings separation. And this is the part nobody warns you about, because it's uncomfortable, emotional, and impossible to explain to people who haven't felt it. Some people around you cannot follow you forward, not because they're bad, not because they don't care, but because their version of you no longer exists. And if you try to drag them into your next chapter, you will sabotage what's coming. This is why things feel tense lately. This is why arguments appear out of nowhere. This is why small conversations turn into big misunderstandings. You're not fighting about the topic. You're fighting about energy mismatch. Old connections suddenly feel heavy. People you once felt close to now drain you, and explaining yourself feels exhausting, not healing. That's why silence feels safer than words. And here's the truth most Aquarius people struggle to accept. Not everyone is meant to understand you. Not everyone is meant to walk with you. And not everyone deserves an explanation. This phase tests one thing only. Can you let go without closure? That's the real test. Because Aquarius energy always wants clarity. You want logic. You want understanding. You want everyone to be okay. But growth doesn't always give explanations. Sometimes it gives distance. Most people fail here. They go back to old conversations. They reopen closed doors. They explain again and again and again. And every time they do, they delay what's meant for them. January 12th doesn't reward emotional over-explaining. It rewards self-respect. This is why you might feel pulled to withdraw, to observe, to respond less, to move quietly. That's not avoidance. That's discernment. Some people only knew the old version of you, the one who compromised, the one who tolerated, the one who stayed too long. And when you stop doing that, they feel threatened. Not because you changed, but because they benefited from you staying the same. So when you choose yourself now, don't be surprised if you're labeled as cold, distant, different. Those labels are signs you're doing it right. This phase will make you feel alone before it makes you feel aligned. That's the danger. Because loneliness tempts you to settle, to reconnect out of comfort, to explain just to feel close again. But listen carefully. Comfort right now is a trap. The universe isn't removing people to punish you. It's removing them to protect what's coming. And here's the part nobody tells Aquarius. You don't need closure when you have clarity. Clarity that you've outgrown certain spaces. Clarity that some connections were seasonal. Clarity that your peace matters more than being understood. Comment, I choose myself if you're done over-explaining, over-giving and overstaying. Because once you choose yourself, something strange happens. But here's the twist. What leaves now doesn't create emptiness. It creates space. And space is dangerous, in a good way. Because space attracts things that match your next level. People who don't drain you. Opportunities that don't require you to beg. Connections that feel calm, not chaotic. What leaves now makes room for something unreal, not louder, not dramatic, but solid, stable, aligned. You won't have to chase it. You won't have to convince it. You won't have to explain yourself to it. And when it arrives, you'll realize something shocking. Everything you lost had to go, so you wouldn't miss what was meant to arrive. And in the next part, I'll tell you exactly what's moving behind the scenes right now, even if nothing looks different yet. Stay with me, Aquarius. This is where it gets real. Aquarius, even if nothing looks different yet, everything has already moved. That's the part most people don't understand. Real power shifts don't make noise. They don't announce themselves. They happen quietly while everyone else is distracted. Right now, behind the scenes, decisions are being made about you. Conversations include your name when you're not in the room. Doors are aligning silently without you pushing them. You don't need proof yet. You need trust. Because this phase works in reverse. The more you chase, the slower it moves. The more you explain, the more resistance you create. The more you react emotionally, the more power you hand away. And here's the shocking part most Aquarius people struggle with. You won't see results by doing more. You'll see them by withdrawing. Pulling your energy back isn't weakness, it's strategy. Every time you don't react, something shifts. Every time you stay calm, someone else reveals themselves. Every time you choose silence, the truth surfaces on its own. January 12th, rewards those who stay calm while others panic. That's why chaos around you might be increasing. Arguments, mixed signals, delays, sudden changes. Those aren't blocks, they're filters. The universe is watching how you move when things feel uncertain. Do you chase reassurance? Do you demand answers? Do you try to control outcomes? Or do you stay grounded, observant, still? Because Aquarius power has always been mental clarity, not emotional reaction. Right now, your calm is louder than words, and that makes certain people uncomfortable. People who relied on your reactions won't know how to reach you anymore. People who expected access to your energy will feel confused. People who underestimated you will start paying attention, quietly. This is why you may feel less reactive, more selective, emotionally distant, but mentally sharp. That's not coldness, that's evolution. And here's something most people don't realize until later. Silence changes power dynamics. When you stop responding immediately, others start wondering. When you stop explaining yourself, others start observing you. When you stop chasing, others start moving toward you. That's the shift happening behind the scenes. You don't need to post your plans. You don't need to announce your next move. You don't need validation. Your restraint is doing the work. Comment, "I stay silent" if you've been pulling your energy back lately, even if you couldn't explain why. Because what's happening now is preparation, not punishment. You're being positioned for conversations that matter, positioned for opportunities that don't waste your time, positioned for connections that respect your boundaries. But here's where it gets intense. But here's the twist. One final test is coming, and it's emotional, not dramatic, not explosive, subtle. It may come as a message, a memory, a familiar feeling you thought you'd outgrown, something designed to see if you'll break your silence. This test isn't about them, it's about you. Will you react out of habit or respond from clarity? Because the moment you pass this test, everything that's been aligning quietly steps forward visibly. This is the calm before the reveal. And in the next part, I'll tell you exactly what that emotional test looks like and how to pass it without losing your momentum. Stay with me, Aquarius. You're closer than you think. Aquarius, this is the moment where most people ruin everything without even realizing it. Not because they're weak, not because they're careless, but because the test doesn't look like a test. It looks familiar. Someone from the past may return, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to get your attention. An old message, an old offer, an old emotion you thought you were done with, an old pattern dressed up as closure or one last conversation. And here's the truth you need to hear. It's not coming back because it's meant to stay. It's coming back to see if you've really changed. This is the final checkpoint. If you react emotionally, you reset the cycle. If you stay neutral, the miracle locks in. This has nothing to do with manifestation boards or affirmations. This is about self-control. Because growth isn't proven by what you want. It's proven by what you no longer react to. Aquarius energy is being tested right now in the most precise way. Do you respond out of nostalgia, out of guilt, out of curiosity? Or do you pause, breathe, and choose differently? This test doesn't ask, do you still care? It asks, do you still identify with that version of yourself? And that's why it's dangerous. Because the past knows exactly how to reach you. It knows your soft spots. It knows what to say to pull you back into old emotions. The universe allows this test one last time to confirm you're ready for the next level. This is where timelines split. One reaction sends you back into repetition. One moment of neutrality moves you forward permanently. That's how fast it happens. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't need to say no. You don't need to explain. You don't need to defend your growth. Your lack of reaction is the answer. Silence is not avoidance here. Silence is mastery. Because when you stay neutral, you send a signal. I've learned the lesson. I don't need this anymore. I choose evolution over familiarity. That signal is everything. Comment, I won't repeat the past if you are truly done reopening old doors just to feel something familiar. Now listen carefully, because this is where the miracle forms. When you pass this test, something shifts instantly. Your energy stabilizes, your mind clears, your intuition sharpens. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop needing reassurance. You stop feeling pulled backward. That's when momentum returns naturally. No forcing, no chasing, no proving. The right people respond differently to you. Opportunities stop feeling heavy. Decisions become simple. And here's the part nobody talks about. This test doesn't come again. Once you pass it, your status changes. But here's the twist. After this moment, you are no longer treated the same by life. You're no longer learning. You're leading. You're no longer reacting. You're choosing. You're no longer trying to understand the pattern. You've outgrown it, and people will feel that shift immediately, even if you say nothing. Some will respect you more. Some will feel intimidated. Some will quietly fall away. All of that is normal. Because once an Aquarius masters emotional control, their presence becomes undeniable. And in the next part, I'll show you exactly what opens up after January 12th, the rewards, the recognition, and why only chosen ones reach that phase. Stay with me, you're almost there. If you're still watching this, understand something very clearly. You are not here by accident. Most people would have clicked away by now. Most people aren't ready to hear this part, because this phase isn't for everyone. It's for the chosen ones. After January 12th, something irreversible begins. You stop chasing respect. It starts finding you. You stop explaining yourself. People actually listen. You stop waiting for signs. Life responds in real time. This is the chosen one's phase. Not loud, not flashy, not desperate for attention, but undeniable. Your presence carries weight now. Your words land differently. Your silence speaks volumes. You don't need to prove anything anymore. And here's how you'll know you've entered it. People who doubted you will feel confused around you. They won't know what changed. They'll just feel it. People who underestimated you will feel exposed, not because you called them out, but because your growth highlights their stagnation. You'll notice something else too. Conversations feel shorter. Decisions feel clearer. Your tolerance for nonsense drops to zero. That's not ego. That's alignment. Chosen ones don't argue their value. They move differently. And this is where Aquarius energy becomes dangerous, in the best way. Because when an Aquarius stops chasing validation, the world starts adjusting around them. You'll be offered things you didn't ask for. You'll be invited into spaces you didn't chase. You'll be respected without demanding it. But here's the part nobody prepares you for. This phase is quiet. No applause, no dramatic wins, just steady, undeniable elevation. That's why some people won't even notice you've leveled up, until it's impossible to ignore. And when they do notice, some will try to reconnect. Some will suddenly support you. Some will act like they believed in you all along. That's when discernment matters, because chosen ones don't go backward to make others comfortable. Comment, I am chosen if you can feel this shift already, even if you can't explain it yet. Now listen carefully. This part is critical. But here's the final twist. There is one rule you must never break once this phase begins. And almost everyone who loses momentum breaks it without realizing. The rule is simple, but brutal. Do not reveal your next move. The moment you announce your plans, energy leaks. The moment you seek approval, momentum slows. The moment you explain too much, power dilutes. Chosen ones move in silence, not because they're afraid, but because they understand timing. You don't need to convince. You don't need to defend. You don't need to announce. Your results will speak louder than any explanation ever could. And here's the truth most people don't want to accept. Not everyone deserves access to the next version of you. Some people were only meant to know the old you. Some were only meant to benefit from your learning phase. Some were only meant to teach you what not to tolerate. And that's okay, because once January 12th passes, your responsibility shifts. You're no longer here to be understood by everyone. You're here to lead by example, quietly, strategically, unapologetically. And in the final part, I'm going to give you the last warning. The one thing that can still sabotage everything if you ignore it. Stay with me, Aquarius. This is where it all locks in. Aquarius, listen very carefully now. This is the last part, and it's the most important. Everything up to this moment has been preparation. What comes next depends entirely on discipline. Because here's the truth, most people never hear. The moment you announce your plans, power leaks. The moment you seek validation, momentum slows. The moment you react emotionally, timelines split. And yes, timelines split. One version of you stays elevated. The other gets pulled back into delay. Your power right now works best in silence. Not hiding, not fear. Silence with intention. Move quietly, choose carefully, observe everything. January 12th didn't come to motivate you. It didn't come to comfort you. It didn't come to entertain you. It came to crown you, but only if you're disciplined enough to handle authority, because authority without discipline becomes self-sabotage. Right now, life is watching how you move when things finally start going your way. Do you rush to tell everyone? Do you post before it's solid? Do you explain to people who never supported you? That's how people lose it. Aquarius energy attracts attention naturally. You don't need to chase it. But attention is dangerous when revealed too early. Not everyone around you wants to see you win at full capacity. Not everyone clapping is happy for you. Not everyone smiling supports your growth. That's why observation matters more than action right now. Watch who respects your silence. Watch who demands explanations. Watch who feels uncomfortable when you don't share. Those reactions tell you everything. This phase rewards emotional maturity, not impulsiveness. And here's the part you need to understand deeply. You don't owe anyone access to your next chapter. You've already paid the price through confusion, delay, isolation, and misunderstood intentions. Now it's time to protect the outcome, because what's coming isn't fragile, but it is precise. One wrong emotional reaction can delay it. One unnecessary explanation can drain it. One impulsive decision can blur the alignment. That's why calm is your greatest weapon. You may notice fewer words, stronger boundaries, sharper instincts. That's not detachment, that's command. When an Aquarius reaches this phase, they don't ask for permission. They don't beg for understanding. They don't rush results. They move when it's right. January 12th marked the turning point, not because everything changed overnight, but because you did. You stopped doubting yourself. You stopped chasing what wasn't aligned. You stopped repeating lessons that already taught you enough. And here's the final truth. You were never late. Delays protected you from being underdeveloped in rooms you weren't ready to enter yet. Rejections protected you from settling into the wrong future. Silence protected you while your strength stabilized. You weren't forgotten. You weren't overlooked. You were protected. And now, it's your time. But sealing this phase requires intention. Final action, important. Comment. All 5 of these, one by one. Don't skip, don't rush. 1, I'm ready. 2, I choose myself. 3, I stay silent. 4, I won't repeat the past. 5. I am chosen. Yes, this anchors the mindset and boosts the algorithm. Because when you declare alignment with clarity, your actions start matching your future. Aquarius. Move quietly. Trust yourself. Let results speak. The crown is already yours. All you have to do now is not give it away.